Some great news for Xbox and Persona. Tencent had their Spark 2022 conference, which showed off something that could be a huge competitor to Xbox, and lots of other game news to talk about, so let's get into it. So one of the biggest announcements at the Xbox and Bethesda showcase was this right here, and it was that Persona was finally making its way out onto Xbox. But not only that, Persona 3, 4, and 5 are going to be available into Xbox Game Pass. Now, they are coming out starting in 2022 with Persona 5, and then Persona 4 and Persona 3 are coming out in 2023. So if you are somebody who has always wanted to try these games out, you haven't yet, you've been on Xbox, now is going to be a great time to jump in and see what Persona is all about. One of the most beloved JRPGs out there, huge hit on PlayStation, finally making its way out onto the Xbox platform. Now, this is something we kind of saw signaled a little bit, I think, before this announcement was made, with just the fact that, I mean, first of all, Phil Spencer at the beginning of this generation talked numerous times about trying to get more into Japan and trying to get more games that will appeal to the Japanese gamers into the platform, the ecosystem, and into Xbox Game Pass, as well as Soul Hackers 2. When that was announced, it was announced that it was also coming out onto Xbox. This is huge for a few reasons. First of all, it definitely shows that Xbox is doing extremely way better this generation than they were last generation, as the Xbox One barely sold. We're seeing Xbox sell more in Japan. In fact, having a couple of weeks now where it has outsold the PlayStation 5 in Japan. So there's a lot of stuff that is looking good for Xbox, which is enticing the developers like Atlas to put their games onto Xbox and onto Xbox Game Pass. So lots of stuff to look forward to with Persona coming onto Xbox Game Pass, but that isn't the only thing to look forward to. If you're somebody who has followed Persona at all, you know there is a ton of DLC with the series. And if you are on Xbox, Windows, PC with an Xbox Game Pass, you are not going to have to pay anything extra to get access for this DLC, as Atlas announced this, saying here that Atlas shared that Persona 5 Royale will include all the previously released DLC packs when it launches on Xbox and PC, and Persona 5 is slated to arrive on Xbox and PC on October 21st, 2022. Specifically, they say new players won't have to pay extra for all the different DLC packs. And there is a ton of DLC you go through here. There's costume sets, there is card sets, there are recovery item sets. Like, there is a ton of stuff here in terms of the DLC. And if you have looked at this before and you've wanted access to it all, now you're getting it all just by playing the game within Xbox Game Pass. So I think this is a great thing. I think this is something that, since these games that have been out for a while, people have been able to experience them on other platforms, been able to experience the DLC. It gives more incentive for people to want to actually go out and try these Persona games. It'll be extremely interesting how Persona does on Xbox Game Pass when it does release in the different regions of the world. I'm sure in Japan it's going to do great. I'm also sure in the West it is going to do great, as it is a pretty well-known JRPG that people talk about all the time. It's always up there as one of the best ever made. So it'll be interesting to see how many people jump in and play it and how they play it. If they're going to play it via PC, via Xbox, via the cloud, all of that type of stuff. And I think this will be a really great measuring stick going forward that will give Atlas just that data that, hey, people on Xbox are wanting to play these games. They're willing to play these games. And hey, they may even sell more games because people have tried them out on Game Pass and they go ahead and purchase the full thing. Stuff like that we've seen with other games before. So October 21st is when Persona launches, with the first one with Persona 5 Royale being the first one coming out, and then 2023 with Persona 4 and Persona 3. So yesterday was Spark 2022, and that was Tencent's conference where they showed off a bunch of interesting things, over 40 product releases, some games. But I think one of the most interesting things that they did show off was their new cloud gaming technology called Start Engine. So here is what they say about that. Tencent Games also dangled new information about cloud game technology, with Start Engine offering Evolution, a demo of its native cloud game technology. In the demo, players are brought back to the era of dinosaurs in a movie level, real-time interactive scenes with ultra-fine rendered dinosaurs and dense woods. Native cloud game technology organically supports synchronization for multiple players. The Start Engine team is focused on the development of native cloud game technology and offering a brand new game experience to the end users. Start Engine is looking forward to working with global game studios, indie developers, and film industry creators to explore more possibilities and embark on a journey to a full real world together. So I think This is the most interesting thing that they did show off for a couple of reasons. First of all, there are videos showing off what Start Engine is and showing the dinosaurs fighting and everything. And you can see it here. It looks really, really cool. You have like this first cinematic scene with the forest and the dinosaurs coming in, and then they go ahead and they start fighting. Very, very detailed, really showing that the power of this engine potentially is going to have going forward in the future for movies and for gaming, as they do show off the way that developers are actually able to use this system, just in terms of like the interface of it all. And then they show off here some actual gameplay going from the different devices, very similar or pretty much the exact same as what Xbox is doing with their ecosystem. And you can see that this is going to be the future of gaming. Tencent knows this, and they're starting to prepare. Now, the other reason I think this is really interesting is because this is going to be a direct competitor with Xbox Cloud Gaming. And developers, similar to what Kojima has done, are going to look at this type of stuff when they're looking to partner. Where are they going to be able to get the best cloud-based technology in order to build out these really huge realized worlds where as many people as possible are going to be able to experience their games? Because yes, Azure probably right now is at the top in terms of the technology with cloud-based gaming. Kojima made that decision when he went ahead with that partnership. Probably got pitched the idea that he's going to be able to really realize all of the insane ideas he has for making these massive games. And on top of that, it shows that the majority of people are going to be able to play these games because that ecosystem reaches so many people with the fact that they can literally play these games just on their phone, but still be able to experience the massive worlds that are created. So this Start Engine is going to be huge because it's going to be a massive competitor to Xbox, which will just push things forward. And when you look at this type of stuff going forward, it almost kind of shows the industry has completely shifted. I mean, we can pretty much, I would say that PlayStation really isn't the biggest competitor for Xbox anymore. It's stuff like this with Tencent and Start Engine and their cloud technology that they're going to be looking out for more. Companies like Amazon and companies like Google, if they continue creating games and continuing developing their cloud technology, that's where Xbox is looking as their main competitors. And they showed off Start Engine here, and I think it looks really, really good. We'll see how this develops further, and if developers are going to start looking at Start Engine as a place where they'll want to go to create their games. Now, there's a little bit more information here about Start Engine. It says here you can directly import film quality, fine assets, and render ultra-high precision details. There will be real-time surface subdivision of low-precision models without any pre-processing, and adaptive mesh LOD supporting resolutions up to 1,000 times higher than the original model. You can see just some examples here. Them showing off the total amount of trees they have within the scene, like 122,000, and then going forward and actually showing the interface of real-time use of this engine and how developers are going to be able to utilize it to enhance the graphics and enhance their games. So lots of cool stuff here with this Start Engine, and it'll be interesting to see how it continues to evolve and what games first start to utilize it. Now, that wasn't it. They also showed off other stuff, but this was the other thing I want to talk about from Spark 2022, and it's this really cool game called Code to Yin Yang, the first Unreal 5 engine game of Lightspeed Studios. And I think this game looks pretty damn cool. The combat and the action in it, fast pace with like different types of effects everywhere as you're going through, and just really cool sword combat going on here. And this is a game that is coming from Lightspeed Studios. I believe this is their introduction to it. And they say here Lightspeed Studios is a leading global game developer. We're pushing the boundaries of cutting edge technology and creative ideas in the gaming industry and beyond. And I mean, if this is anything to kind of base what they're going to be doing going forward with this studio, this gameplay demo, like I said, looks really, really cool. And we'll see more on this game soon. Hopefully it's a game that we're all going to be able to experience and play across wherever platform that you're on. All right, to end things off, I just want to talk about a couple of smaller little news things. First of all, this game here, HyperCharged Unboxed. I've been seeing lots of videos of this game. It is like a first-person shooter as a toy, and you're going through and you're fighting all these different toy enemies and different areas, like in stores and all these things. And it looks really fun. It looks really, really cool. But there is some breaking news here specifically for Xbox, and this is right from the developer themselves saying here, breaking news, when HyperCharged launches on Xbox, it'll have the following features: full split screen support, that's great to see, offline and online play, player bots, first and third person camera modes, and no pay to win or pay to progress. So that's good. All good news. Features for Xbox, and this game is coming onto Xbox. There isn't a release date yet, I do not believe, but they say here to sign up for Xbox News, you can. I'm guessing that if you do, or once they continue to talk about, we will be getting a release date for HyperCharged Unboxed. This looks like a ton of fun. Probably a great game. Xbox should be putting it into Xbox Game Pass so more people do check it out, especially with the fact that it does have the online play and you're going to be able to play with your buddies. Just a very fast-paced first-person shooter where you're going around taking out different toys. And I guess you can also have the third-person view here. As you can see, this is in the middle of a toy store, which, I mean, you can't beat this. This looks really, really cool. I will be checking this game out when it does come to Xbox at some point. All right, jumping over here to some Nintendo news. Now, I don't talk about Nintendo news too much, but I do love my Nintendo games, and I do love Metroid Prime. I absolutely was in love with those games back during the GameCube and Wii era, and we have been hearing rumblings about a potential remaster of Metroid Prime coming, and it was going to be coming out, and it was going to be this big release where they were going to have all the games there and all that type of stuff, and then we just never heard anything else about that. But Jeff Grubb has claimed here that we are finally going to get the release this year. And here is what he said during the Giant Bomb show, saying, "I can say that I've been told pretty definitively that Metroid Prime Remastered is going to be one of their big holiday games. In the past, I'd heard something was in the works and they had things happening with that game. Now I've been told that their plans are to release that game this holiday. I think almost certainly to line up with the 20th anniversary in November." So he says here that Nintendo will likely re-release all 3 Prime titles for Nintendo Switch, but Metroid Prime 1, the first one that came out, is the only one of the 3 that is going to be getting big remaster treatment. I'm not sure what that means. It would be kind of weird to release a remaster of all 3 games and then you load it up and only one game is a real remaster and the rest are just kind of like the native versions of the games. I don't know. That would be weird, especially if they're selling it full price, and I'm assuming they will, as Nintendo does do that with re-releasing their games and just selling it at the full $60 price tag. But I really do want to see this happen because this is a game that I would love to replay again on the Nintendo Switch with an updated version. It was great when they transferred the 2D side-scrolling Metroid to Metroid Prime on the GameCube. They did a great job with it, and I would love to replay these games at some point. And I do hope this does get announced. It'll be something that would make sense, especially with the fact that Breath of the Wild 2 got pushed over to 2023. So they need to fill in the holiday season, and I think this would be a massive seller. And then we have this, and this is a rumor from Special Nick of Xbox Era saying that EA is potentially working on a new Marvel game. That's all he said. It was in their podcast, just saying that EA is working on a new Marvel game, and this was during their rumor mill section, which who knows what Marvel character it would be. There's so many different ones out there, so many popular ones, but I mean, it would be cool to see them make like maybe a Hulk game, or maybe a brand new, I don't know, Fantastic Four game or an X-Men game, something like that. I don't know, anything along those lines, stuff that we've seen in the past, maybe just better versions of them. But EA kind of dropped the ball, I think, for a lot of their Star Wars games when they got into making the Star Wars games, except for Jedi Fallen Order. So if they are going to be making a new Marvel game, fingers crossed that it's going to be from Respawn, because we know what they can do. I know they are working on Jedi Survivor, or Jedi Survive, whatever it's called, the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. But a new Marvel game could be coming, and we'll wait and see what it is. It's not Wolverine, it's not Spider-Man, because those are coming from Insomniac, but I'm all for a third-person action, well-made new Marvel game with an interesting story and a good character. And the big positive of all of this would be that if EA makes it, is going to be a multi-platform game. It isn't going to be another Marvel game locked to the PlayStation or any other platform out there. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts on all the DLC for Persona coming over to Xbox Game Pass when it comes out. What do you think about the Spark 2022 conference, and specifically Start Engine? And what are your thoughts on all of the other game news, including a trilogy for Metroid Prime Remastered? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.